This program was first broadcast on Canterbury's community access radio station Plains FM 96.9 and was made with the assistance of New Zealand On Air.
It's time for Emergence News on Plains FM 96.9, citizen-made radio.
Hello and welcome to Emergence News. We're a group of global volunteers. We're a loosely formed network of pathfinders. We are the heralds of the new age. Our story is one of hope and salvation, of the breaking down of the old to allow the new to flourish. We are speaking to you today from the city on the plains, nestled against the mountain wall of the Southern Alps. We have the sea at our doorstep. We have survived much, this little city, but we flourish. We are the People's Republic of Christchurch, so-called, in the east of a great southern land. We want to tell you of the emergence of a teacher, not a new story, and in fact one that most religions and philosophies of a spiritual nature will posit at some time in their history. We want to tell you of the emergence of the teacher, the world teacher, the teacher of angels and men alike, the avatar for this age, the Lord of Love, sometimes called the water carrier for the age of Aquarius. His name is Maitreya. He is amongst us now and awaits an invitation to step forward, to show us a pathway to a brighter future. So we're here to talk about Maitreya, the emergence of the world teacher and the masters with him. In the studio today, I have Peter.
Hi there, John.
And Nigel.
Hi, John.
Peter, who is Maitreya to you?
Maitreya is the Lord of Love. He is the Christ. He embodies the Christ energy, and he comes as the avatar of this planet.
Okay, so answer this for me then. Does he embody the principle, or is he in a physical body?
He has created a physical body, but he basically normally dwells without, doesn't actually need a physical body, but he has created a Maya Varupa.
Right, so he anchors the principle and is the focus.
He is.
Second ray, ray of love.
He is ray 2, yes, which is the ray of our solar system.
Bang, spot on, thank you. Nigel, can you do any better than that? Because that was pretty good off the cuff.
Yeah, and I don't want to try and pronounce that word to describe the physical body he's taken on.
Maya is actually a body of illusion.
Yes.
And Varupa it's a body of light. Right. And it looks just like a physical body, but in actual fact is well beyond that. It doesn't need to eat or it doesn't need to drink, and impervious to bullets and any other assassinations that we might try and...
Indestructible.
Yes. Indeed.
Nigel, I told you it was worthwhile keeping Peter around. We're going to re-sign you, Peter. Your contract's good, mate.
Okay, good.
It's solid.
Now, tell us, Nigel, who is Maitreya to you?
There's only one thing I would add, and that is that he is a product of this planet. So he has gone through the initiations himself on planet Earth, whereas a number of the masters, of course, that have progressed, such as Buddha, they're actually a product of other planets.
Sai Baba, cosmic avatar.
Indeed. Yes.
Arrived to us from elsewhere. Okay, cool. All right. Now, at lunch recently, we discussed what we were going to talk about, what's next. And the question arose at this point, who else? So who else is Maitreya Commonwealth? Who else is involved with this story? Where else do we hear of this teacher? Does he come alone? And we've talked about Krem and we've talked about Maitreya, Benjamin Krem that is. We've mentioned Blavatsky and Bailey. But who else tells us of this emerging teacher? Who else fleshes out this story? Who else imparts a similar cosmology to the one that the oracle Benjamin Krem tells us comes from Maitreya? Who else can we say has an esoteric background? Where else can we verify this story? So that is some of the stuff we're going to look at in the next 25 minutes. Okay, we're back. Peter, Tell us what you've got for us today.
Well, I just thought it would be interesting to look at some of the masters that we know. We know there's 14 of them here already, and I think we've worked out probably about 8 of them, but the others are a bit of a mystery. We have limited knowledge on this subject, so we're going to do our best.
You're going to do a little bit of prediction for us, Peter?
Speculation.
There's big money on the table. Okay, Nigel, what have we got?
My job today, John, is to talk about 2 disciples who were actually selected by masters of the wisdom. Mm-hmm. They are both women.
Yes.
One was a 3-degree initiate, just to give you an idea of how powerful these ladies were. Some of the 3-degree initiates, famous ones, Bach, Beethoven, Churchill, Benjamin Creme himself, John the Baptist, John the Beloved, Michelangelo, Muhammad, Mozart, William Shakespeare. So all those individuals left
powerful
legacy on the planet.
Yeah.
So one of these women is a 3-degree initiate.
Yes.
She was actually born a 2.1, but she died a 3.2 initiate.
Right.
And the other woman is a 4-degree initiate. And when we're talking about 4-degree initiates, we're talking Jesus of Nazareth, Krishnamurti, Sri Chinmoy, and quite a few individuals who have gone on to become masters themselves.
Abraham Lincoln, I believe.
Was he?
4th-degree initiate, I think.
I had an idea it was 3, but...
okay, no, I will bow down to Peter.
Yes.
Mainly because he's bigger than me. Okay, I'm going to talk about Krishnamurti. Now, Krishnamurti is fabulously interesting for a number of reasons. One is there's an amazing group and knowledge and energy around Krishnamurti and his teachings. He passed, I think, in 1986. But there's schools, there's education, there's an approach to life carried on by people that are interested in Krishnamurti's story. So he's had a very, very big impact. However...
Well, just his introduction to life was interesting.
Well, and I'm going to tick that
Adopted by the Theosophical Society.
Right. At 10.
Yes.
Fabulous. Anyway, so I went on to the Share International website, searched on Krishnamurti, and I came up against an article by Bet Stockbauer, and I apologise if I pronounced it incorrectly. She's written an article, The Teachings of Maitreya and Krishnamurti, a comparison. And basically Krishnamurti, 1895 to 1986. She's described him as one of the most influential spiritual teachers of the 20th century. Through his books, his schools, and speaking engagements to audiences throughout the world, he shared his unique vision of inner liberation. According to Benjamin Creme, he was born a 3rd-degree initiate, who in his younger years, as Nigel's pointed out, was adopted at about 10 by the Theosophical Society, because I think C.W. Leadbetter read his aura and said, man, this is a really innocent, unaffected child. So there he was born a 3rd-degree initiate. The Theosophical Society took him in, educated him, raised him, and I think his brother as well. And
they knew he had a job to do.
And his father. And they identified him quite early on as a possible vehicle for Maitreya, before Maitreya decided to come in the body, Peter, that you can pronounce so well.
Yes, Mayavarupa.
Thank you. See how we can work together? I really like that. Okay, so he was found in his younger years, and he was prepared by overshadowing, and that's also a key phrase with the Benjamin Creme story. And then Maitreya decided to manifest through his own self-created body. Krishnamurti began his own teaching work. Now, according to Benjamin Creme, Krishnamurti took the 4th-degree initiation at about 49 years old. All right, so he's come in as a 3. He's done this incredible work with Maitreya, preparing himself to be the vehicle, and has become a 4th-degree initiate at 49 and died, I think, at 90. One of Maitreya's associates said that Krishnamurti was a true disciple of Maitreya. The teachings of Krishnamurti are the teachings of Maitreya. Creme and Krishnamurti both talk about being overshadowed by Maitreya. Krishnamurti called it the process. It was painful and caused migraine-type headaches, which he bore with complete detachment. He speaks of himself in his writings and his body in the third person. And what I wanted to do was just go into a book that he wrote, his first notebook. He wrote 3 notebooks over the period of his life, none of them for very long, but every now and then he jotted down some of his ideas. And here are some of the writings from his book around this process, this overshadowing. The whole process has been going on all day. The pressure, the strain, and the pain at the back of the head. Woke up shouting several times, and even during the day there was involuntary groaning and shouting. This is him talking about his own body. Last night, that sacred feeling filled the room, and the other felt it also. There was someone else in the room with him. How easy it is to deceive oneself about almost everything, especially about deeper and more subtle demands and wishes. To be utterly free of all such urges and demands is arduous, but yet it is essential to be free from them, or else the brain breeds every form of illusion. Here's another one. It was bad last night, shouting and groaning. The head was painful. Though little sleep, woke up twice, and each time there was a sense of expanding intensity, an intense inward attention, and the brain had emptied itself of all feeling and thought. This is how he describes this incredible process of this. He's almost like he's being hollowed out, and it's painful and it's unpleasant for him, and he just watches it happen almost. He has that incredible detachment, which was the key of his teaching, right? And also the key of Maitreya's teaching.
Do you think that part of that process was taking the 4th initiation?
Yeah, look, honestly, I don't know.
Because it was such a physical experience, wasn't it?
But he's being shaped, he's being prepared and shaped. And Krem, in his own writings, has said that his own experience was a lot less painful and uncomfortable. And he said Krishnamurti had a seventh ray body, and I think a 7th ray...
It's more sensitive.
Yes, and so, exactly, Peter, Krishnamurti was more sensitive and struggled with those energies coming in. But his description of that process and his amazing ability to stand back from this incredible discomfort and then think about really other things as well is a fabulous demonstration of the man and his courage. Krishnamurti was being prepared as Maitreya's vehicle. Maitreya decides to come in his own vehicle, created body. Krishnamurti goes on and teaches this incredible story. I really recommend it to our listeners. There's a lot of information in Krem's writings about Krishnamurti, and of course Krishnamurti's written many books himself. All right, sorry guys, I went a little bit under time there, but I was really excited about the Krishnamurti stuff. Okay.
That's great.
Peter, what have you got, buddy?
Yes, I'll try and share with you what we know about the Masters. They're coming out with the Lord Maitreya. There are, at the latest count, 14 Masters who have left their retreats and joined Maitreya in full physical bodies. Well, some of them use old bodies, and some of them use the Maya Varupa.
Someone can use my old body. Yeah. I tell you what, old age is overrated, right?
Yeah, well, it does look the same, and but it is a body of illusion made of light. The Master Jesus uses a 600-year-old Syrian body and is often seen with Maitreya. Some of the Masters actually have bodies thousands of years old, and they show no signs of wear and tear, which is absolutely amazing, isn't it?
Mine's nowhere near that old, and there's a lot of wear and tear.
Yeah. So, you know, it's going to be a real experience to see these people and to understand how this all works, the subtle energy that they use to create the bodies and that sort of thing.
It's going to be a revelation.
Well, now, Jesus actually lives on the outskirts of Rome. He is hoping to bring new life into the Christian churches. Here's a weekly meeting with a nun, among other things. So these workloads pretty high, I imagine. And he is actually a Shohan of the 6th ray, which means he has taken the 6th initiation, and he is the leader of the group of that group of 6 ray souls that come in.
I bet he's doing good work with the Pope too.
Yes, well, probably is, because the churches, of course, will be on the sixth ray, so obviously that fits in with Jesus being sixth ray as well.
Well, Pope Francis demonstrates a lot of progressive thinking, doesn't he?
He really does. Yeah,
it does.
Yeah.
The Count Rakowski is the Shohan of the seventh ray. His work requires him to be out in the world. His previous lives include Roger Bacon, Francis Bacon, Saint Germain. So he is well known. There are quite a lot of books written about him, and here he was obviously at the time of Elizabeth I when he was in Francis Bacon. But I believe he's implicated with the independence unit of America. The decree of independence that the Americans broke when they broke away.
Oh, the Declaration of Independence from Britain.
Yes,
from the monarchy.
Yes.
Okay.
And the Master Katumi is the Shohan of the second ray. He was John the Beloved in the time of Jesus. Also Shah Jahan, who built the Taj Mahal. The Master Moira was disciple Peter, and he is the Shohan of the first ray.
Oh, fabulous.
Yes. I was talking to John earlier, and if you go through the apostles, they were all significant initiates themselves.
At the time or later?
At the time.
The third degree was John and Peter
and Paul. And 2 or 3 of the others we went through the list were 2-degree initiates. So, so they were all very powerful men.
And at that time, that would have been a
very highly evolved,
high degree of initiation.
Yeah, we don't know their real story, do we? We only sort of
we've only got a snippet of it, haven't we?
Yeah, just a smattering of it.
Yeah. Is it a snippet or a smattering? Because you said snippet and you said smattering.
The Master Serapis is a Shohan of the fourth ray and of harmony through conflict. And he's often assisted by Mozart, who is now a master. And he, of course, was a fourth degree, a fourth ray soul, bringing through that amazing music and that sort of thing.
Yeah. If Mozart was a master, you'd hear him coming, wouldn't you?
That's right. The violence.
You probably would. The English master, whose name we don't have, is on the third ray. We suspect he's probably one of the poets, or one of the English poets, or writers, or something of the. But we don't know about him at all, really. The Master Joel Kuhl, who is also second ray. And I think he will be in the initial group as well.
Is that one of your predictions?
Yes. And
he's done a lot of preparatory work, hasn't he? Openly.
And we also heard something in the latest, one of the latest Share International magazines about Matthew, Mark, and Luke, which we don't hear very much about. But they will be involved, I think, in the coming time.
In the Emergence?
Yes, I imagine they could possibly be out already.
Listeners, you heard it here first. Emergence News, Plains FM, March 2020. Thank you, Peter.
The writings of DK are extensive, and he dictated the Alice Bailey books, which Nigel will be talking about too. I think about 18 books, was it, Nigel, that he produced?
24, actually.
24. Some of them were directly by Alice herself, weren't they?
3.
3 of those, okay. And so all the masters are centred their life on getting the understanding the process that was going on. And one of the pieces I came across that DK had written was just to put in perspective their place in the scheme of things. And he says, the spiritual hierarchy of this planet is a branch of the Great White Brotherhood on Sirius. So Sirius is our nearest star. And the relationship between Sirius and this solar system is the same as between our soul and the man or woman in incarnation. We as individuals are a reflection of our souls, and this solar system is a reflection of Sirius. The laws governing our lives are generated on Sirius, which is the lowest point of a cosmic triangle. The 7 stars of the Great Bear, the 7 sisters of the Pleiades, and Sirius. So the energies of the cosmic rays that we see coming in, or that the scientists know are impinging on our planet, actually come from the Great Bear, the stars, 7 stars of the Great Bear. They come via the Pleiades, and then via Sirius, and then through to our own solar logos, and then to our various planets on the solar system. So the masters, this is what they're doing. They're working on this level, shaping the effect of these energies, and with regard to humanity and various other sub-rays and things that are happening on this planet.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Peter. Nigel, get yourself ready. We're coming back to you soon.
This is the Emergence News on Plains FM. For more information, go to shareinternational.org.
Bring it home for us, Nigel, please.
Hey, thanks, Peter.
Yeah.
I'm talking about Alice Bailey, one of 2 women, and Alice Bailey's the first one I'm looking at. Born in June 1880 in Manchester, England. She was a Ray 2, Peter, her soul. 2-degree initiate at birth, 3.2-degree initiate at death. At the age of 15, she was visited by a tall stranger, apparently Master Moya, who said to her, work on your self-discipline. I've got work for you to do in a few years' time. And he was one of 3 masters that Alice Bailey worked with. Master Moya contributed to the majority of her 24 books published. However, is it Kuthumi?
Yes, Kuthumi.
Yeah, he contributed as well, but it was mainly Master Moya who was the contributor to... He when she was 15, he was dressed in European clothes with a turban.
Yes.
So he really did stand out in the streets of Manchester at that time. So, yeah, he told her to develop her self-control in order to prepare for certain work that he had planned for her. So she's the author of 24 books, a huge body of work when you, if you go to the Lucis Trust online and have a look at the body of it, each book, it's quite a read, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, some of them are 800 pages.
Yeah, incredible.
Yeah.
And, of course, she did work on occult meditation based not on devotion to masters, but recognising the soul in each person. And that's kind of what I like about Alice Bailey.
Is there an alignment with that esoteric teaching there? Would you say that she was esoteric?
Yes, because that is the key, a key teaching of Maitreya.
Okay.
So 19 books on esoteric philosophy she wrote in cooperation with the Tibetan.
Yes.
Between 1919 and 1949. And one of the themes that Bailey wrote regarding the reappearance of the Christ, Maitreya, is to say that he comes as a world teacher. That is how he will consistently work. And that the churches are but one of the teaching avenues.
What a great phrase. Are but one of the teaching avenues.
Her writings also concentrate on subjects such as the 7 rays of energy. These are all subjects that we talk about on this program. The 7 rays of energy, esoteric astrology, and esoteric healing. And, of course, Peter's talked about that. Oh, no, you've both talked about healing in the past.
Yeah.
The constitution of humankind. And another area which I think she has laid much foundational work for, not just in the New Age movement, but also in the coming new time of preparation for Maitreya coming, and that is the working in the area of meditation. She writes much about meditation.
Okay.
And the teachings and philosophy of the ancient wisdom teachings. But before I go, I really want to talk about Helena Roerich.
Right.
She was a Russian born in 1879, so that was just a year before Bailey.
Right.
Very much contemporaries of each other. They knew of each other, but they never actually met. Helena Roerich was born in St. Petersburg. She was a Ray 1, a Russian theosophist, writer, explorer, a public figure in Russia, the UK, America, and later in life she and her husband Nicholas visited India. She worked in cooperation with teachers from the East, the masters of the ancient wisdom, Master Moya, who also
we've already talked about.
We've talked about, but also Master Kuthumi. And her first book, which was called The Call, is actually by Maitreya himself, and is sometimes referred to as the leaves of Maya's garden.
Oh, right. So, guys, just to wrap up, if someone's listening to the program, they've heard about Benjamin Creme, they've heard about Maitreya, Peter, who can they go to?
Well, Share International starts everyone off, I think. This is where it can start. And if you find articles there that interest you, let your interest follow through to the various books. The Esoteric Psychology is another one that Alice Bailey wrote. And
very readable.
Yes, Initiation, Human and Solar.
Yeah. Indeed.
Alice A. Bailey, very readable.
Ponder on This is another one of her books, which is a good one to start on.
Who else would you suggest, Nigel, to our listeners? Share International, we've got Alice A. Bailey, Rowich.
I would go to Scorpio Books and get hold of a Share International magazine.
Boom. I'm a big fan of Krishnamurti, as well as Creme, as well as Bailey, and as well as Maitreya. So there's a number of sources telling a very similar story. Thanks for coming in, guys. Been a pleasure.
Welcome.
All this information can be found on the Share International website, www.share-international.org. Scorpio Books in Christchurch carries the magazine and some books. And also don't forget the podcasts, which are available on the Plains FM website.
We welcome your comments, questions and feedback. Please contact us at emergencenews@gmail.com.
The opportunity to join our transmission is available Monday and Wednesday evenings and Thursday mornings, which gives us the possibility to do a service meditation in conjunction with Masters.